Well, good morning. Welcome to another week, Monday morning. Actually out. Well, I've just finished making a couple of images. I'm actually in the process of, which I'll talk about in an upcoming Sunday vlog. I'm actually in the process of making a little handmade book. Yeah, one of the things I really want to try to do in February is be a lot more productive with actually physically making things, or making something, not just an individual image, not just a post to Instagram or to my blog. I actually want to put together little small, quick bodies of work. And so one of the things that I want to do is actually get a little bit better at handmade bookmaking. And so I've decided to do a little bit of a project just using some long exposure photography, a bit of minimalism. But I'll talk about that in an upcoming Sunday vlog. I reckon the weather's going to be pretty gnarly this week, just overcast, grey, very stormy tomorrow. Probably quite good conditions for a little bit of minimalism, sort of long exposure stuff, so we'll see how we go. Anyway, I'm freezing, I'm off to get a coffee. Catch up in a bit. Good morning. Fantastic hat attire this morning. Oh, just come out to sort of give Nicola some encouragement. She's off to do her daily sea dip. I think this is day number 105 or something in a row. Oh, rather her than me. Well, I do really want to get out again today and do a little bit more long exposure as part of the little book project. And I actually think that a day like today might actually be in my favour, because it does, the scene over here with Old Nessie. I took an image yesterday of it, and it's just too busy because you can see the landscape of Donegal behind. But now, whenever there's a bit of mizzle in the air, that landscape behind completely disappears. Now, of course, we don't have any light, very little contrast. But maybe as the day develops, we might be able to sort of think about that. And even if not today, it's certainly given me an idea. I would like to include Old Nessie in the little book project, because it is a subject that I've been photographing ever since I came here, so I'd like the opportunity to include it, but we'll have to wait and see. Ooh, that looks cold in there. So with the weather pretty minging outside and looking to be that way most of today, definitely an office day. I was just running through all of the recent wildlife prints that I put up on my store and just doing another quick. I like to do this from time to time, just giving everything another print through and making sure everything is as expected, maybe doing a couple of other little small tweaks to them. And for this I use an A3 sheet. Now all of my wildlife prints, and in fact most of my open edition prints, are on Platinum Burrata, a really nice glossy paper from PhotoSpeed. When I'm doing these kind of, every so often when I do like a massive print run of a lot of images, I will sort of print them very small. I'm just looking to make sure that everything is as expected, and obviously saves a little bit on ink. So that's what I'm doing this morning. Oh goodness me, so I just had to get out of the house. Bit of a morning sort of print editing session, followed by a washing machine breaking, a very barky dog because of the window cleaner, and numerous other bits and pieces going on, and I just needed to get out of the house and have a bit of wind in my face. And this is where I love my little X100T, especially the little built-in ND filter. I wish other cameras had that as well. The magic jiggery pokery it can do. Stick it on, a day like today where the conditions are sort of a bit overcast, stick it on f16, put the ND filter on, ISO 100, and have a little bit of a play with multiple exposure and ICM. Probably not much doing, but it's all just about that. I was thinking about this whenever I was wandering around the town. Right now and over these last few weeks, and in fact most of 2020, there's been very few images of note to be made. But that's not the point. The point is making, and especially for me when I'm in this kind of mood where I could just kind of throw my head up and say, stuff it, I'm just going to go and lie about in my pants. Nope, get out and make stuff. or even being in the house and making stuff. I'm actually going to go in and I'm going to order myself another X100, another battery for the X100, because this battery lasts, both batteries I have last about, well, maybe about 30 shots or so. Hopeless. I'm hoping that it is the battery, because I really don't want to have to buy another X100. But and in case you're wondering, this on the front of the X100 is actually a screw-in filter. If I wanted to do more sort of elaborate long exposure shots. The hand that's holding the iPhone is frozen, so I'm going to go in and grab a cup of tea. Catch up soon. Trying to do it. Don't know why I was looking at the microphone there. Trying to do a voiceover piece for an upcoming vlog, and they're doing quite a lot of construction work outside. At the moment they're doing some piling. I think that's what the technical term is, where they're driving in the initial sort of structure, and it's just like constantly dunk, 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 dunk. I think tomorrow's Friday from the van. I'm going to have to drive away somewhere and record it, but sounds like it stopped again. I can maybe record another minute of voiceover. For a very miserly dander. The light actually, in first inspection you sort of think to yourself, nah, not much light, and don't get me wrong, you have to kind of squint your eyes with one eye completely closed to see it, but there is just a little bit of graduation in the light that could do for something. But walking past the old fossil beach again, and yes, there are actually fossils down on here. You should really come down and search for some more at some point. But I just love this place, and I'm hoping that before winter is out we do get some frosty conditions, promising potentially for this weekend coming up, because elements like this can sometimes take on some lovely frost. But love this little light flow here as well. I've got a few images from there, none that I'm 100% happy with, but actually a day like today might actually be a nice variation. And that's one of the great things about shooting somewhere repeatedly. Don't know how many tiddly I put on there, but you're able to come back to the same place time and time again and actually shoot it in all kinds of weather. Don't get me wrong, some lovely early morning light is wonderful, but it's got me thinking, I wonder what it would look like on a day like today. The rocks here are just gorgeous, just beautiful. Anyway, I'm rambling. Time to carry on, get those steps and miles in. So I've just come round to another little area just to do a little bit of a recce in terms of a potential image for my little handmade book. So this little area round here, I think there's probably something in there. And I think on a day like today, when it's not too, there's a little bit of a swell but not too much, because I don't want too much of the sort of foam and the spray up on those rocks. I want to sort of keep the real sort of contrast and sharpness of that. And of course this does get some big waves over the top of it, so maybe over the next couple of days I'll come back and get an image here. The other thing this has the benefit from, first thing in the morning, it does actually get a little bit of the early morning light sort of on it as well, so there's a potential another shot as well. I've shot around here a couple of times before, so I think there probably is something for the little book, at least an image to be considered. So right, wander on. Well, good morning, Sunday morning, end of another week, and come around. Nicola's doing her daily sea dip round here. This is Arcadia, and actually this is a little area that I haven't really explored too much, and at low tide it's just full of the most incredible rocks, lots of lichen and seaweed and patterns, and I reckon this is going to be somewhere that I'm going to want to come and have a little bit of a play about with. And in fact, on Friday, my little Fridays from the van, I was kind of talking about playing the long game. You know, some of the things I say, I really need to eat my own dog food, as they say. Basically, one of the things I've been struggling with is, you know, I love the intimate shot. I love looking for little sort of finer details, more complex shots. But at the same time, I kind of feel, you know, when the light's great, I feel a bit torn, because I really want to maybe take the bigger vista. Guess what, Nigel? You can do both. You can be both. You know, have your little intimate shots, the more detailed shots, the more sort of complex images that really make you think and really make you work for it. But also take the big vista shots as well. Do both. Be both. You know, at the end of the day, it's all about doing what makes you happy, and photography makes me happy. So a little lesson for me there. But definitely going to come around here to this beach. I think there's plenty to be had here, both in terms of looking out to sea. You got some lovely waves that come up over these rocks, and of course the little patterns themselves. So definitely something to try out. Right, I'm going to head back to the house and grab a coffee. Well, good evening. Thought I'd record a little last minute outro Sunday evening on another crazy Boris the foster dog walk. Next week we're supposed to get some pretty cold weather. Now, Beast from the East Mark II, as the media likes to call it, I don't think I'm going to quite get that. Ooh, as a cold wind blows right up my jacksie. I'm hoping that we're going to get a little bit of sub-zero temperatures. Might have to go a couple of miles inland, but I'm really hopeful that we're going to get some cold temperatures on the kelp along the coast and get a little bit of intimate frosty kelp action on the go. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, guys, once again, thanks a lot for following along on these little moments between, and until next week, take care. Bye bye.